Hello, hi, this is Uday. I'm here to explain the process discovery methods. In the second slide, we will discuss about the contents and various topics included in this chapter. The presentation gives detailed information about the fifth chapter in the book titled Fundamentals of Business Process Management. This chapter is focused on process discovery and covers a variety of topics including the settings of process delivery, process discovery methods, process modeling methods, and the process modeling quality assurance. And in the next few slides, we're going to see about the process discovery, advantages of process discovery. This is the table of contents, where in the first section we're going to discuss about the introduction for process discovery, and in the second section we're going to discuss about the setting of process discovery, and where in the third section we're going to discuss about the various process discovery methods and the strengths and weaknesses, and the fourth section we're going to discuss about the process modeling method, and the fifth section we're going to discuss about the process model quality assurance. And this is the first section. In this we're going to discuss about the introduction for process discovery. This is the first section, and in the first section we're going to discuss about the process discovery. Process discovery is the initial phase of business process management that focuses on understanding and capturing existing business processes within an organization. So it involves in the analyzing, documenting, and visualizing the flow of activities, decisions, and interactions that occur during the execution of the process. Process discovery aims to identify bottlenecks and opportunities for improvement in order to optimize and streamline business operations. Process discovery is crucial for understanding correct process, identifying variations and exceptions from, and enabling process development. And process discovery is a critical steps in improving business processes, unlocking hidden potentials, and driving organization success. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the advantages of effective process discovery. There are four main advantages of the process discovery, and the first one is the improved operational efficiency. By identifying and addressing bottlenecks and inefficiencies, organizations can streamline the process, reduce cycle times, and achieve higher productivity. And the second one is the enhanced quality and compliance. And in this, through process standardization and validation, organizations can ensure consistency, accuracy, and compliance with regulatory requirements. And the third one is the cost reduction. In this, by eliminating waste, rework, and non-value added activities, organizations can achieve cost savings and allocate resources more effectively. And the fourth one is agility and adaptability. Process discovery enables organizations to be more agile and responsive to changes, allowing for rapid process modifications and adaptations to evolving business needs. In the second section, we're going to discuss about the setting of process discovery. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the setting of process discovery. The setting of process discovery refers to the context in which process discovery activities takes place within an organization. It includes various elements like the organized structure, technology infrastructure, and the people involved in the process discovery process. And understanding the setting is crucial for successful process discovery because it gives the insights into the organization environment and influences the approach and tools used. The process discovery has the four main tasks that needed to complete in order to create a process model. The first task and the main task is to define the settings, which includes assembling a team responsible for process discovery. The second task is to gather information using different discovery methods. And the third task is to conduct the modeling task, where a modeling method is used to map out the process systematically. The fourth and final task is to assure the process model quality by ensuring that the process model meets quality criteria. And the process discovery, there are two important roles. They are the process analyst and the domain experts. The process analyst is responsible for gathering information about the processes, driving the modeling task, and the man must be familiar with the process modeling language such as BPMN. The domain expert has an intimate knowledge of the process or specific task within that process. And there are three main challenges in process discovery. The first challenge is fragmented process knowledge, which arises due to the specialization of division of labor. And the second challenge is thinking in cases where domain experts find it difficult to respond to general questions about how a process works. And the third challenge is to a lack of familiarity with the business process modeling language among domain experts. To successfully complete process discovery, it is important to resolve inconsistency in the provided information and formulate specific questions to extract process details from the domain experts. In the third section, we're going to discuss about the various process discovery methods and their weaknesses and strengths. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the process discovery methods. The process discovery methods refer to various approaches and techniques used to gather information about an existing process and create an as-is process model. Here are some of the common used process discovery methods. They are the evidence-based discovery, interview-based discovery, and the workshop-based discovery. In the next slide, we're going to discuss about the different process discovery methods. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the evidence-based discovery and their strengths and weaknesses. In evidence-based discovery, the process analyst collects and analyzes objective evidence from various sources such as system logs, transaction records, and data analytics. This method focuses on extracting insights from actual process data. And in the evidence-based discovery, there are three key methods: document analysis, observations, and automated discovery. And we're going to discuss about the three key methods separately and their strengths and weaknesses. So the first method is the document analysis, and this method involves in analyzing existing documents and records related to the process. It provides access to formulas, information, and historical data, allowing for an understanding about the process based upon the documented knowledge. However, it may suffer from outdated or incomplete documentation, limiting its accuracy and completeness. The strengths in the document analysis is the access to formalized information. The documents provide structured and implement explicit information about the process. And the historical preservability. Existing documents may capture the evolution of a process over time, from the beginning to ending. And the weaknesses are the outdated or incomplete documentation. The available documents may not accurately reflect the current state of process. And the lack of context. Document may not capture contextual noises or informal practices. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the remaining two key methods. They are the observation and the automated discovery. And in the observation, this method entails directly observing the process in real time. It offers first-hand insights and a real-time understanding of how the process operates. However, it may have limitations in scope and can be influenced by the Hawthorne effect, where participants alter their behavior due to being observed. The strengths in this are the real-time understanding, where the observing the process or activities provides an accurate and correct representation. And the identification of informal practices. Observation can reveal undocumented workarounds and expectations. And the weakness of the methods are the limited scope and the Hawthorne effect. The limited scope that the observation may only capture a subset of process instances or specific tasks. The Hawthorne effect is the presence of an observer may influence participant behavior. And we're going to go to the third main key method. The one is the automated discovery. This method utilizes automated techniques, data mining and process mining tools to extract insights and patterns from the large data sets. It provides scalability, unbiased analysis, and the potential for discovering hidden patterns. However, its effectiveness depends on the availability and quality of the data and the accuracy of the automated algorithms used. And it also has some strengths and the weaknesses. The strengths of the method is the scalability and efficiency and unbiased analysis. In the scalability and efficiency, automated techniques can handle large volumes of data, where the unbiased analysis means the automated discovery relies on objective data analysis. And the weakness are the data availability, in which the effectiveness of the automated discovery depends on the availability and the quality of data sources. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the second discovery method, that is interview-based discovery. Interview-based discovery involves conducting interviews with process participants, stakeholders, and subject matter experts to gather insights and knowledge about the process. The process analysts ask relevant questions to extract process information. There are strengths and weaknesses in this process too. The strengths involved in this interview-based discovery is that the rich qualitative data, where the interviews provide detailed information about the process from the perspectives of the interviews. And the second strength is the conceptual understanding. It allows capturing the race behind certain decisions, exceptions, and variations in the process. And the third one is the flexibility, where the process analyst can adapt the interview approach and question based on the interviewer's responses. And the weaknesses are the subjectivity and bias, where the interviews rely on the individual perspectives, which can introduce bias or incomplete understanding of the overall process. And the second one is the limited scalability. Conducting interviews with a large number of stakeholders can be time consuming and resource intensive. And the third one is the reliance on interview availability. In this, the availability and corporation of interviews may affect the progress and the quality of the discovery process. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the last and third process discovery methods, that is workshop-based interview. The workshop-based discovery involves organizing collaborative workshop with process stakeholders, including process participants and subject matter experts. The workshop focuses on mapping out the process, discussing process flow, and capturing insights and ideas. The strengths and weakness in this process discovery method is the strengths involved in it are the collective knowledge sharing, where the workshop facilitate group discussions and brainstorming, leveraging the collective expertise of stakeholders. And the second one is the synergy and collaboration. It encourages collaboration among stakeholders, fostering a shared understanding of the process and promoting buy-in. And the third one is the real-time clarification feedback, where the participants can seek immediate clarification and provide feedback during the workshop, promoting accuracy in process discovery. And the next one is the weaknesses. The weakness in the process discovery method is the dominance of vocal participants. Certain participants may dominate the discussion, potentially overshadowing other viewpoints. And the second one is alignment and consensus challenges. Reaching a consensus on process details and decisions can be challenging, in the particularly in larger groups with diverse perspectives. And the third one is the time constraints. Workshops sessions need to be effectively managed to ensure that all relevant topics are covered within the available time. In the fourth section, we're going to discuss about the process molding method and the 5 key steps. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the process molding method. In the process molding method is a systematic approach to molding a business process during the process discovery phase. It involves following a predefined procedure with 5 key steps, and the 5 key steps are the first step is identifying the process boundaries. The second step is identify activities and events. The third step is identify resourcing and their handoffs. The fourth step is identify the control flow, and the final step is identify additional elements. And we're going to discuss the 5 key steps by step explanation. And the first step, identify the process boundaries. In this step, you're going to define the scope and boundaries of the process you want to model, determine the starting and ending points of the process, and identify any interfaces with other process systems. In the second step, identify activities and events. We're going to identify the key activities and events within the process. Activities are the individual tasks or actions that need to be performed, while events represent points in time that trigger a change in the process. Document each activity and event and their sequential order. And the third step is identify resources and their handoffs. Identifying the resources involved in the process, such as people, departments, or systems. Determine how resources interact with each other and where the handoffs occur. Handoffs represent the transfer of responsibility or information from one resource to another. And the fourth step is identify the control flow. By analyzing the flow of control within the process, this involves understanding decision points, conditions, and branching paths that determine the flow of the process. By identifying the decision points and the criteria for making decisions. And the final step is the identifying additional elements. In this final step, consider any additional elements that are relevant to the process. This may include data inputs and outputs, business rules, constraints, or exceptions. Document any additional elements that impact the process flow or its outcome. By following these 5 steps, you can systematically approach the process modeling task, ensuring that all key elements of the process are captured in the model. This helps in understanding and communicating the process effectively and provides a foundation for process improvements and optimization efforts. In the 5th section, we're going to discuss about the process modeling quality assurance and the 7 guidelines we're going to assure for the process model. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the modeling guidelines and conventions. Modeling guidelines and conventions are an important tool for improving the programmatic quality of process models. The objectives and benefits of using the modeling guidelines and conventions are: the one is the safeguard model consistency and improve standardization and reuse. In this, we can ensure that the process models across large initiatives and multiple analysts adhere to consistent standards. And it's gonna promote reusability of models, making it easier to leverage common parts and best practices. And the second objective and benefits are: the reduce dependency on process analysts, mitigate the risk associated with process analysts, leaving the company by having documented guidelines that can be followed by new analysts. And the third one is the facilitate access to models by non-modeling experts, make process models more accessible and understandable to individuals who are not experts in modeling techniques, and enable non-modeling expert to interrupt and contribute to the models effectively. And the fourth one is the maximize consistency and reuse across different business areas. In organizations with multiple business units or teams, using the same set of modeling guidelines ensures consistency enables easier standardizations of the process across different services. And in the standard common parts of processes such as claim handling across various insurance services within an insurance company. By following modeling guidelines and conventions, organizations can achieve greater consistency, standardization, and reuse in their process models. In turn, this in turn improves the programmatic quality of the models and enhances the usability for both experts and non-experts. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the features of a process model that are restricted by the modeling conventions and guidelines. The first feature was the vocabulary. Avoid using certain elements such as events or processes, and the second one is structure. We're going to limit the structure of the model, such as setting a threshold on the size or number of hierarchical layers, and the model using block structures only. And third one is the semantics, in which we're going to avoid using particular elements, meaning such as using boundary events for business false only and excluding technology forwards. And the fourth one is appearance. We're going to restrict the model appearance in terms of labels, layouts, and notations. And we're going to use the verb noun style to label activities, and we're going to use the terms only taken from the glossary, and we're going to use a model with the top left to the top bottom right orientation. We propose a set of modeling guidelines called the 7 process modeling guidelines. This set was developed as an amalgamation of insights from available research. The 7 process modeling guidelines are the first one is use a few model elements as possible. The second one is to minimize the routing paths per element. The third one is to use one start event for each trigger and one and even for each outcome. The fourth one is the model as structured as possible, and the fifth one is avoid OR gates where possible, and the sixth one is use verb object activity labels, and the seventh one is decompose a model with more than 30 elements. In this slide, we're going to discuss about the 7 steps to improve the quality and understanding of process models. The first step, use as few model elements as possible. The large models are more difficult to understand and have a high error rate, so it recommends to keep the number of elements in a model to a minimum. And the second one is the minimizing the routing paths per element. Having a high number of incoming and outgoing arcs for each element make the model harder to understand, and it's advisable to reduce the complexity of the routing paths through elements. And the third one is use one start event for each trigger and one end event for each outcome. Increasing the number of start and end events in a model leads to a higher probability of errors. To enhance clarity, it's suggested to have a clear trigger and outcomes for each process using dedicated start and end events. And the fourth one is the model as structured as possible. Unstructured models are prone to behavior anomalies and are harder to understand, while complete structuring may not always be feasible. The guidelines suggest making the model as structured as possible. And the fifth one is avoid OR gates where possible. Models with only and XOR gates ways are less error prone. OR gateways which represent multiple choices are more difficult to comprehend, and the semantics of OR joints can complicate understandability. And the sixth one is the use web object activity labels. Labeling activity using a web object style such as inform complement is less ambiguous and more useful than the other labeling styles such as action noun labels or labels that do not follow a consistent style. And the seventh and final guidelines are that decompose a model with more than 30 elements. The larger models with more than 30 elements have a higher probability of errors. It is recommended to split such large models into smaller ones to mitigate the risk and improve manageability. These guidelines aim to provide the quality understanding of process models, ensuring consistency, reducing errors, and enhancing clarity for both process analysts and non-experts accessing the models. Thank you everyone. By here I am ending the presentation. Let me know if you have any questions.